everyone, I'm Yosefin Francisca.
I am Yuni Susanti.
I'm Umi Sudawati.
And we are from Group 2 of TEFL Methodology class.
We are master students of English Language Education at Tanjung Pura University.
Today, we are going to explain about communicative language teaching.
And I'm Yosefin Francisca. Will deliver to you the history and also the principles of CLT.
And then I will explain about the characteristic, and also I will cover the advantages of communicative language teaching. And then Umi,
I will explain about teachers and the students' roles in communicative language teaching. And the last, we are going to present about the classroom activities. At the end of this video, we are going to demonstrate one of the classroom activities that can be applied in communicative language teaching.
Here we go. Check this out.
As previously said, on this special occasion, we would like to share our understanding on communicative language teaching, or CLT. What exactly is it? It is a set of principles that determine the aims of language teaching, how students learn a language, the best classroom activities for learning, and the roles of teachers and students in the classroom. There are three parts to the history of language teaching. Traditional approaches up to the late 1960s is the first one. It prioritized grammatical competence as the foundation of language competency and were founded on the notion that grammar could be acquired through direct instruction and a methodology that relied heavily on repetitive practice and drilling. Memorization of dialogues, question and answer practice, substitution drills, and different types of guided speaking and writing practice are among the techniques utilized in these traditional approaches. It takes a deductive approach in which students are given grammatical rules and then given opportunity to practice applying them, rather of an inductive approach in which students are given examples of sentences containing grammar rules and allowed to figure out the rules for themselves. It placed a strong emphasis on accurate pronunciation and accurate mastery of grammar. The methodologies are audiolingualism in North America, also known as the oral method, the structural situational approach in the UK, also known as situational language teaching, and PPP or triple P is the abbreviation for presentation, practice, production methodology. Grammar-based techniques like triple P have given way to functional and skills-based instruction under the influence of CLT theory, and accuracy activities like drill and grammar practice have been replaced with fluency activities centered on interactive small group work. As a result, a fluency-first pedagogy has emerged, in which students' grammar demands are decided by their performance on fluency activities rather than a grammatical courses. We've arrived at the second phase of CLT history, classic communicative language teaching, which covers the 1970s to 1990s, when the focus shifted to the knowledge and skills required to use grammar and other aspects of language appropriately for various communicative purposes, such as making requests, giving advice, making suggestions, describing wishes and needs, and so on. To utilize language communicatively in this setting, communicative competence was required. The concept of communicative competence emerged from the field of linguistics, or more accurately, the subdiscipline of sociolinguistics. CLT proponents stated that the focus of language instruction should be communicative competence rather than grammatical competence. When CLT originally appeared as a new approach to language teaching in the 1970s and 1980s, it sparked a lot of interest and excitement, and language teachers and institutions all over the world began to reconsider their teaching, syllabuses, and classroom resources. As a result, grammar was no longer the starting point. It is in need of new approaches to language teaching. Current communicative language teaching from the late 1990s to the present is the third part. The communicative approach has been frequently used since the 1990s, and as our understanding of the mechanisms of second language learning, which has grown, so has communicative language teaching. Let's take a look at the current CLT. Here, students are more likely to participate in meaningful dialogue and interaction while they are learning a second language. They can employ effective classroom learning activities and exercises to negotiate meaning, enhance their language resources, observe how language is used, and participate in meaningful intrapersonal exchanges. They process the knowledge that is relevant, purposeful, intriguing, and engaging, resulting in meaningful communication. What is communication here? It is a comprehensive process that frequently entails the use of many linguistic skills or modalities. And then language acquisition is encouraged by activities requiring both inductive and deductive, or discovery learning of basic norms of language usage and structure, as well as language analysis and reflection. It is a long process that requires trial and error, as well as innovative language use. Errors are a natural part of the learning process. The ultimate objective of learning is to be able to communicate effectively and fluently in the new language. And learners have varied paths to language acquisition, advance at varying speeds, and have different language learning demands and motivations. Right. Effective learning and communication techniques are required for successful language learning. In the language classroom, the teacher serves as facilitator, creating an environment favorable to language acquisition and providing chances for students to use and practice the language as well as reflect on their language usage and learning. And the last one, but not least, the classroom is a community where students collaborate and share their knowledge. Let's move on to the principles of CLT. CLT is based on 8 principles. The first one is language teaching, where it is built on the concept of communication. That is, language is viewed as a social instrument that speakers employ to convey information, and speakers communicate about something to someone for a specific purpose, either verbally or in writing. The second one, it is about the second language learners and users. Like first language users, acknowledge and welcome diversity here as an element of language growth and usage. The third one, the skill of a student is measured in relative terms rather than absolute terms. The fourth, multiple varieties of a language are acknowledged as legitimate learning and teaching models. And the fifth, speakers' communicate competence is recognized as being shaped by culture in both their first and subsequent languages. The sixth, there is no particular approach here or set of procedures that must be used. 7. Language usage is linked to the growth of learner skill in the areas of ideation, interpersonal communication, and textual communication. 8. Learners must be actively involved in accomplishing things with language. That is, they must utilize language for a variety of goals throughout the learning process. Next, will be explained by my friend Yuni.
Hello! Now I will try to continue. I will explain the characteristic of communicative language teaching. According to Brown 2001, advocates that learner demonstrate linguistic fluency and not just accuracy. He offers 6 interconnected characteristics of communicative language teaching. The first is classroom goals should focus on all components of communicative competence that include grammatical, discourse, functional, sociolinguistic, and also strategic. And the second, language technique should engage learner in the pragmatic, authentic, functional use of language for meaningful purposes. And then the third, fluency and accuracy are complementary principles underlying communicative techniques. And the fourth, language should be used productively and receptively. And the fifth, the activities are learner-centered and the learner focus on their own learning process. And the last, the teacher's role is mainly as a facilitator to guide the learner in the interaction that take place in the classroom. Now we come to the advantages of communicative language teaching. According to Santos 2020 mentioned that communicative language teaching approach offer a significant set of advantages for both teachers and students to enjoy the progress of learning. Here, the first, students are trained to use all key language skills like listening, speaking, reading, and writing in a real-life context. Teachers are able to set up situations where communicative activities enable learners to improve these skills and adapt them to other environments. And the second, unlike the grammar translation method and the direct method, the communicative language teaching approach tends to be a student-centered and situation-oriented language teaching practice. Within the situation practices, teachers tend to develop some related activities within student living communities and societies. And also, the situational practices in speaking may not have a strong focus on grammar and sentence translation accuracy. However, with these approaches, students may increase their understanding and knowledge of language use, feasibility, and communication abilities. And the third, one of the other significant advantages of the communicative language teaching approach is the interaction between teachers, students, and peers. The relationship between both teacher and peers are significantly increased and highly considered. Because the communicative language teaching approach allows both teacher and student to transfer their traditional teaching and learning beliefs into an innovative teaching and learning approach. And the last, the communicative language teaching approach usually increase the overall teaching and learning interest of students. When students are allowed to participate in some real-life contexts or stories, this could develop the interest of the student beyond the classroom environment. Okay, now we come to disadvantages. The communicative language teaching approach provides a number of advantages for both teacher and student to participate in effective language learning environment. However, some possible obstacles may serve as disadvantages within the teaching and learning environment, such as here, the first, lack of language proficiency. In fact, some teachers may be unable to answer detailed questions about the target language, sociolinguistic, and cultural as they arise from interaction in the classroom. The communicative language teaching approach encourages teachers to employ related teaching and learning materials and tools from living societies and communities. However, the range of the related materials could be large. Therefore, even if teachers have prepared the lesson, some question and challenge could be missed. And the second, learner behavior would be highly influenced by the practice of the communicative language teaching approach in classroom environment. Based on learner behavior, the communicative language teaching approach may have potential limitation to some group of learners due to social and cultural background and perspective. And the last, classroom size and student enrollment number for each individual classroom significantly influence the outcome and performance of the communicative language teaching approach. In some circumstances, language teaching courses could enroll more than 50 students in a large-size lecture hall. In this kind of situation, it offers no opportunities for students to interact and communicate with their peers as in a silent and concentrated environment. Also, teachers can usually cannot handle the additional demand, question, improvement, or correction for each individual student. Okay, that's all my part. We have talked about the characteristic, advantages, and disadvantages of communicative language teaching approach. Now the next part will be delivered by my friend. Here we go. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Hi. Today, I'm going to talk about the teacher's roles and the student's roles in communicative language teaching and the classroom's activities that can be applied in CLT classrooms. What are they? Here we go. Now, let's start it with the teacher's roles in the communicative language teaching. Now we go to the first one. So according to Green and Calvin in Richard 2001, there are 5 roles of teachers in CLT classrooms. The first one is teacher as a facilitator. So as a facilitator, the teacher will facilitate the communications process between all the participants in the classrooms. In here, the teacher must provide various communicative activities in the classroom will that encourage the students to speak actively and respond in the classroom. So in CLT, the students not only get knowledge from the teachers, but they construct their own knowledge also based on the discussions and other learning activities in the classrooms also. And next one, we go to the second role is teacher acts as independent participant within the learning teaching groups. In here, the teacher can get involved in the groups as learner as well as the guide also. So the teacher can also participate and guide the students how to do the group activities. And the third one is teacher as a needs analyst. So as an analyst, the teacher must analyze the students' needs and respond to their needs also. For example, analyze what are the learners' learning style, their goals, and others. And in here, when the teacher knows what the learner needs, so they can apply the proper and effective classroom strategies to support the learner's progress. And the fourth one, teacher as a counselor. In here, the teacher acts as an advisor also, where the teacher will monitor the students' performance when they are presenting something in front of the class. So just like they answer the questions and give response to performance. The next one, the fifth roles of the teachers in CLT classrooms is teacher as a group process manager. So it is our responsibility as a teacher to organize, to set the classrooms into good and communicative classrooms. So in here, the teacher have to arrange and plan and organize the classrooms and provide the good tours of the learning. So, and then the teacher also have to monitor the students' progress and anticipate any problems that may occur as long as the classrooms. And then that's about the teacher's roles. And next we go to the learner roles. So according to Green and Calvin in Richard 2001, there are 2 roles of learners in CLT classrooms. The first one is learners as a negotiator between the staff. So in here, the learners as the object of learning, okay? And in here, the learners must contribute as much as they gain the knowledge in the classroom. So in here, the teacher have to provide with good strategies, good activities in a classroom, which can trigger the student to have independent learning. So all the students, all the learners must cooperate each other in the classrooms. Okay, and the next one, we go to the second. So as we know, CLT emphasizes the process of communications rather than the mastery of the language form. So it means that the CLT here, it's emphasized how the students' fluency rather than their accuracy of the sentences itself. So for example, like the teacher have to provide good and communicative classrooms where the students can talk more and more and respond actively in the classroom. So where it can trigger their fluency, their willingness to talk. So as much as they talk, which it can focus on their fluency rather than the accuracy. The next one, we go to the classrooms activities that can be applied in CLT classrooms. So there are some of them. Here we go, and we go to the first one. So it is information gap activity. So in this activity, it requires the students to speak and practice the teamwork, where they're going to work with their classmates to acquiring the missing information. The example is the information exchange, feature difference, and the role play. And the second activities is called jigsaw. So mostly this is the common activities. Maybe you have known before. So what is it? So jigsaw, in here it is a cooperative learning technique where the students will work in the groups to teach each other something. So the numbers of the students is very important in this activity, because there will be some groups, and then each member of the students will be the experts of the information, and then each of them, they will complete each other about the information. It's just like a puzzle. And the third one is task completion activities. And the example of these activities, just like puzzle, games, map reading, and other kinds of classrooms tasks which focus on using one's language resources to complete the task. And the fourth one is information gathering activities. So in this activity, students doing survey, they interview, and they search, in which students are required to use their linguistic resources to collect those information. And now we go to the fifth activities, is opinion sharing activities. In these activities, the students will compare their opinion, their thoughts, their point of view about some case that being discussed. So it is good because it will build their critical thinking and be open-minded learners about some issues. And then sixth, that's information transfer activities. So in here, it requires the learners to take information that is presented to another form. So the students will try to present one form information to another forms of information. And now we go to the seventh. That is a reasoning gap activity. So these activities, these activities involve getting some new information from given information through the process of inference, practical reasoning, and role play. And the eighth one that's the last, that is role play. So role play, this is the common activities that's about communicative, how people interact each other, where in here the student requires to wear the games. They are going to play a role. They're going to play a role according to the situations provided by the teachers. For example, as a waitress, waiter, or customer when they are in the restaurants, or librarian, or the students when they are in the library. So it can develop students communicative skills, and where they can improvise also for each scene. So that's about the activities in CLT classrooms. After this, our group will present one of the example of it. That is role play. So here we go. Hi, good morning, class. Good morning, Miss. Hi, how are you today?
Hi.
We are good.
Okay, so is everyone here absent today, friends? Okay, Okay, good. So all of you are here, Eunice, Santi, and Josephine. Okay, good. So today we are going to talk about a role play. Is anyone of you here know what is role play, by the way?
Role play is pretending.
Pretending? Okay.
Is it kind of games?
No, it's not a game, Josephine. Even there is a play game, so it's not, okay? So what is a role play, do you think? Role play is a phrase, so what do you think? What is a role play?
Playing a role.
Playing a role, okay, that's a good idea. Play a role, okay. That is right. So role play, in this activity, you are going to play a role, a special role, depends on the settings, yeah. So for example, when you are in the restaurant, so what is most possible people that you are going to find? Friends? Class?
Waiter.
Waiter, okay, waiter. Who is waiter? Someone who visits or someone who brings you the food?
Bring
Food. Oh, that's great. What about someone who just wants to eat to that place? It's called, yeah, that's customer. So that is role play. You are going to play a role based on the situations. For example, restaurant, there is a waiter, and of course there is a customer. So here, you are going to play a role. Okay, so what do you want to have for the setting, friends? Classrooms? University? Or is there any ideas? Okay. Now here they are. I provide you with 4 topic settings here. The first, library, classrooms, restaurants, and department stores. So I want you to choose one only and pick the roles, okay? Either Francisca wants to be the university students or the visitors or the librarian, so you choose, okay? So I give you 15 minutes to make a dialogue and practice for it, okay? You can do it now.
Yes. How about borrowing a book?
So who will be the visitor? Okay, so Josephine is the visitor and Luni is the librarian. Okay. You can use the properties as your corporate equipment, okay? The gloves or pencil or tape.
Oh, I go first because I'm a student and
What else? Okay. So now, are you ready to perform it in the classrooms? Josephine and Moody?
we are ready.
Okay, that's great. Now let's have the role play in the classroom first.
Good afternoon, Miss. How are you?
Good afternoon.
Actually, I'm looking for a book. What kind of book are you looking for? I'm looking for a book about history of English and then also American idioms. Okay, wait a second. I found one with. Okay. Here we have Mountain Bright and also the. Is it from McKay or something? Yes. Wait. One from McKay. We have from Mountain Bright and McKay. Yes, I need that one. In which section can I
Okay, you
get
can
those?
go to this
Okay, Los Angeles and San Francisco section.
Okay.
Do you need help to find
No,
the book?
I think I can see it from here. Thank you, ma'am.
Have you found that?
Yes. Here you go. Can I sit down for one?
Yeah, sure. Do you want to get both of the book?
Yes.
For that, you need to make a membership card for yourself.
Do you have to pay something for that?
Yes, it's mandatory. Okay, and here if you want to issue both of this book, for that you need to pay 100,000 for 6 months, and subsequently you can reissue your membership card 20,000 for more 6 months.
I see. Okay, please issue me.
Okay, I need your ID card.
Here you go, miss.
Okay, wait a second. Okay, here your ID card and your membership card.
Thanks a lot, miss.
Yeah, you're welcome. Have a nice day.
Yeah, you too. Have a great day. That's all about our video today, Communicative Language Teaching. Please support us by clicking the subscribe and like button, and don't forget to comment and share to your friends.
Hopefully you can learn something from this video. Keep practicing your English.
Bye!
See you in the next video.